Oh.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry.
You're
Just distracted by the phone. We'll put it down now.
Focus.
Yeah. Which apparently many of us do get distracted by our phones. I mean, how long can you go without checking your phone before you start to feel anxious? And are you even conscious of the time you've spent on your device?
The ABC's Australia Talks national survey has found that most young Australians and older Australians worry they may be addicted to their phones. Casey Briggs has the details.
I worry that I'm addicted to my phone. That is a statement that 28% of Australians in the Australia Talks survey agreed with. But on this issue, there's a massive age divide, and it climbs to a majority of people aged under 30. 52% of 18 to 24-year-olds and 50% of 25 to 29-year-olds are fearful of phone addiction. Among older Australians, not so much. Those younger age groups also overwhelmingly agree that they spend too much time online. More than 70% of people under 30 are worried about their time online, but it's a concern shared by most people under 50. But it's worth remembering that while young people worry about having phone addiction, they're usually not actually using their phone as, well, a phone. The very idea of that gives them the heebie-jeebies. A majority of 18 to 29-year-olds say they feel anxious when they have to talk on the phone. So next time you need to talk to a young person, don't get on the blower. Do them a favour, just send a text.
That's Casey Briggs there. Now, let's unpack this a little bit further, and we're joined by Dr. Joanne Orlando. She's a digital wellbeing expert and author of Life Mode On. Welcome to the studio. Thank you so much.
Hello.
Now, we've put our phones away just for you. So, look, the WHO defines addiction as having a physical or behavioural dependence on a substance. Does addiction to your phone differ in any way to this definition?
Well, there's no actual classified condition of addiction to your phone or internet addiction. The difference between being, addicted to your phone and a physical, substance abuse is that our phone and our technology is integrated through our jobs, through our home life. We keep in touch with the kids, all those kinds of things. So there's an absolute need for us to be using technology across all aspects of our life. So we have to use it. We want to use it. So it's a very blurry kind of space in terms of being classified in that way.
Yeah, when does it cross the line? Because obviously, you just have to catch public transport to know how much people cannot not be on their phones. They cannot just stand there, and I'm guilty of this too, and, watch life go by. They have to be on their phones. So where does it cross the line then?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's one of the things I talk about in our book, and a lot of people feel quite out of control when it comes to their technology use, and they find themselves mostly on their phone, but they find themselves on their phone and they don't even realise that they're doing it. And that's why people tend to say, I'm addicted. But the reason is that our phone is always with us, or our mobile device is always with us, and we tend to use it to manage our stress or to escape. So you've had an argument, customer was difficult, kids are driving you mad. You tend to pull out your technology and as a way of letting off steam and just relaxing. So, and because our devices are always with us, we're doing that more and more. So it's become a automatic behaviour. So even the tiniest lull, I'm a little bit bored waiting in line for coffee, I'll pull out my phone. So that's what we're thinking of when we're thinking of addiction. But the problem is actual using your device to let off steam, to manage your stress. And of course, you don't really manage your stress, you're kind of just using it, but you're not actually resolving the issue, and that's at the heart of the problem.
Just on that point, Jo, you said, just waiting in line for a coffee or whatever, or just watching life go by. I feel uncomfortable doing that. I feel like I need to be doing something, and so I do. I pull out my phone and I'm scrolling through Twitter, the social medias or whatever. And then at the end of it, I actually feel quite agitated at the end of it as well. So what is that about? I think I'm searching for a dopamine hit, but I'm not getting it, am I?
No, well, many of us, not just you, escaping into our phone. About 87% of people in my research say this is the habit that I just want to get rid of. No, it's a dopamine hit. It's dealing with that uncomfortable moment, even though it's just waiting in line for coffee. but you know, don't want to stand there by yourself doing nothing. So it's not really an important, uncomfortable moment, but that's what we're doing. But the problem is we are diving straight into social media or into news. There's a lot of negativity on there, particularly in the last 12 to 24 months. We call it online hate, but a lot of social comparison, a lot of very critical views, disasters around the world when we're looking at news. So your break is going into negative content.
Because when you say we use it as a way to manage stress, at the end of the long day, when you just don't have the brain capacity to do anything else, you slump on the couch and you're doing that kind of zombie scrolling. What does that actually do to our need for rest and our brains and our need for sleep and restoration? No,
that's right. And a lot of people really worry about its effect on your ability to relax, but also your mental health. So one, depends what content you're going into.
Right.
So we really worry about how much time we spend on our phone, but we also need to think about what we do on there. So if the content you're going into is always about shopping or social media or negative content, then think about it. That's how you're relaxing, and you're not really going to relax. So the best way to release stress is not to do something like passive like that, but to do something more productive or more creative. So if you're going to go onto your device, do something that's a bit more positive. Listen to a podcast that's uplifting. Listen to music. Play a little mind puzzle game. Scroll through your photos. Take up, you know, an art app or a music app, or you know, expand your activities.
We do tend to think of, you know, being on the phone or being on the couch as relaxing. And I do know several people who would be sitting on the couch watching TV, but also scrolling on their phone at the same time. What does that do to the brain? Because you're trying to focus on what's happening on TV, but you're also focusing on what's happening on your phone. And sometimes on your phone, you're scrolling through social media and you're answering messages and emails at the same time. So your brain has to focus on so many things. What does that do to you?
That's right. I call it a digital cocoon. We kind of surround ourselves with our devices, live in our little device world. One is we think we can multitask, right? So we are, you think about it, we're going from one activity to another. But we think we are, but our brain actually can't do it. So what's happening is our brain is going from one activity to the next, to the next, to the next. So one is it's quite exhausting for our brain to be able to do that. And also we never actually get to do anything properly. You know, it's a snippet here, snippet of your attention here, here, here. And during the workday, a lot of people actually work like that. You know, they've got their phone open in front of them, but they might be working or constantly checking their phone. So we never have that time for deep thinking and really putting ourselves completely into a task.
We've run out of time, but just very briefly, how can we improve?
Okay, so I'll give a couple of tips. One is to think about when you're stressed, you know, watch yourself over a day. Think about those times when you actually reach for your phone. What is it that's driving you there? And I think two, think about the kind of content that you're continuously using. Is it negative content? Is it about things that are making you stress, or are you expanding your kinds of activities to be more productive and creative?
Good tips. Joanne, it's great to have you on the program. Thanks
Thank you.
so much for coming in.